He told her she was too poor to be loved, but years later, she became the woman he could never, ever reach. This is a story about how the tables turn, and it's a powerful one. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more inspiring stories just like this one. Alright, let's set the scene. Back in school, there was Ethan. He was the guy everyone looked at handsome, dripping with his family's wealth, and walking with an air of untouchable confidence. He was the king of the campus. And then there was Leela. She was brilliant, kind, and got into the same school on a scholarship. She came from a humble background, and while many girls vied for Ethan's attention, Leela loved him quietly from a distance. One day, summoning all her courage, she poured her heart out into a letter. It was honest, heartfelt, and full of all the feelings she'd kept hidden. She gave it to him, her heart pounding with a mix of hope and fear. Ethan read it, and a cruel smirk spread across his face. He laughed, out loud, in front of everyone. You love me," he scoffed, looking her up and down. "Go get some money first, then maybe we can talk." The world seemed to stop for Leela. Humiliation washed over her, and tears welled up in her eyes. But she refused to break in front of him. Holding her head high, she looked him straight in the eye and said, with a voice that didn't tremble, "Maybe one day I'll be worth your attention." And with that, she turned and walked away, not just from him, but from the girl who thought she needed his approval. Years went by. That moment became the fuel for Leela's fire. She didn't just work hard, she worked with a purpose. She graduated at the top of her class, earned a scholarship to study abroad, and soaked up every bit of knowledge she could. She had a vision. With grit and relentless determination, she started her own fashion company from the ground up. It wasn't easy. There were sleepless nights, setbacks, and moments of doubt, but she never forgot Ethan's cutting words. They weren't a source of pain anymore. They were a reminder of what she was striving to prove not to him, but to herself. Meanwhile, what about Ethan? He coasted. He lived comfortably on his father's wealth, never feeling the need to build anything of his own. He partied, traveled, and enjoyed a life without responsibility, assuming his privilege would last forever. His world was easy, but it was also empty, built on a foundation he didn't lay himself. Fast forward to a glittering business gala. The room was buzzing with the city's most influential people. And in the center of it all was one woman who commanded everyone's attention. She was stunning, moving with a grace and confidence that was magnetic. She spoke with authority, and people listened. Ethan, attending the event out of obligation, couldn't take his eyes off her. There was something familiar about her, but she radiated a power he'd never seen before. Then it hit him. It was Leela, the quiet scholarship girl he had so callously dismissed. His heart skipped a beat. He watched as CEOs and investors hung on her every word. This wasn't just a glow-up, it was a complete transformation. Gathering his courage, or what was left of it, he made his way through the crowd. He approached her with a nervous smile, his old confidence completely gone. "Leela," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "It's me, Ethan." Leela turned to him, her expression calm. She smiled, but it was a polite, distant smile. "Oh, I remember you," she said, her voice smooth as silk. "You're the one who told me love had a price tag." Ethan's face flushed with embarrassment. He nodded awkwardly, fumbling for words. I was just a stupid kid." "I didn't know what I was saying." Leela leaned in closer, as if to share a secret, and her next words were for him alone. "I know," she whispered, her voice kind yet firm. "But here's the lesson you never learned. Now, even all your money can't buy back what you lost." With that, she gave him a final, polite nod and turned back to her conversation, leaving him standing there, completely shattered. Ethan left the gala a broken man. For the very first time in his life, he understood that character, ambition, and perseverance were treasures that money could never buy. He had inherited wealth, but Leela had earned her worth. Leela's story doesn't end there. She used her success and her platform to create a foundation that helps other bright, ambitious girls from low-income backgrounds. She became their champion, their mentor, and the voice of hope that she never had. She made sure that no other girl would ever be made to feel that she was unworthy because of her circumstances. This story is a powerful reminder. Never, ever judge someone by their present situation. The person you look down on today might just become the person you can only look up to tomorrow. True wealth isn't in your bank account, it's in your character. So, what did you think of Leela's story? Did it inspire you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Would you give a second chance to someone who once rejected you so harshly? It's a tough question. If you enjoyed this story of karma and redemption, please give this video a huge thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more emotional and empowering stories. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.